Hi, my name is Shabir Chohan. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm currently the chief executive of Baraka Bank based in Durban. It's the only fully fledged Sharia compliant bank in South Africa that was established way back in 1989. Being a chartered accountant and embarking on the journey to become one can transform one's life from adversities that one experienced historically to taking a leading part in organizations and in the country. It's a profession that people should strive for. People should approach it with tenacity and perseverance, and you can also be a difference maker in our beautiful country, South Africa. I started off university in 1983. At that stage, going to Howard College, which is now University of KwaZulu-Natal. But it wasn't an automatic entrance. I had to apply, believe it or not, some people may not be able to understand this, to the Department of Constitutional Affairs to get permission to go to Howard College. Because at that stage it was only for whites. And I got permission to become a chartered accountant because of a particular subject that I wanted to do. But the one incident I remember, I'm not going to mention the firm's name, it is one of the big four firms, but I was invited for a function where they wanted chartered accountants to join them or students to join them, and attended this cocktail party to get introduced to this firm. And the person asked me for my name, Shabir Chohan, and he turned to me and he said, with that name, you might want to change it if you want to come and work in our firm. And for me, that really hurt me to the extent that I said, I'll show this firm. I'll go to university and I'll excel. And I think that propelled me, because when I completed my diploma in accounting, that's a 4th year of studies at the University of Natal at that point in time, I ended up first in the class out of, 200 students. And for me, it's incidents like that that will get people to excel, to kind of show the world that one incident that was a very negative experience also helped me to get what I wanted and to make sure that I'm focused on qualifying as a chartered accountant, and not only that, also topping the class in my final year. You know, my aspirations when I was at even school was to become a chartered accountant. I should read Financial Mail when I was in standard 6 or grade 8 as they call it right now. My dad, he had shares in companies on the stock exchange. I should read those financial statements in detail, and I was intrigued by the world of numbers. So I think it was an automatic choice for me to become a chartered accountant. And when one qualifies as a chartered accountant, the world has got so many opportunities to go into different professions, different areas. I honestly thought that I'll stay in the profession, but I actually went into business, into the corporate world, and that was an area where I found quite interesting. So when one starts off becoming a chartered accountant, one thinks that it's only just dealing with numbers and auditing, but there's so many different opportunities. In my case, I've become the CEO of 2 organizations. I was the financial manager at a very large clothing industry, and for me, it was great to have those opportunities. I think my advice for aspiring chartered accountants is that they must be focused. Having chosen the profession, they must have considered very appropriately that they wanted to go into the world of numbers. So the first couple of years is going to be a bit difficult. I know people do go and study, and then when they serve the traineeship, they find it difficult to adapt and to think that they're going to be doing very routine work, but it's part of the whole process of character building. And for me, that's quite important. Having gone past the first 3 years, the world becomes your oyster. You can go into so many different fields. If you want to stay in the profession and if you're motivated by that, yes, you can go into that. But at the same time, there's so many different areas. I'm a chartered accountant, but I'm not dealing with accounting issues at the moment. I'm dealing with leadership issues. And I think that's the opportunity. So if someone is looking at this as a profession, they must look at it, what's going to happen in the next 5 or 10 or 15 years, and that will be very appropriate for them to consider. I think I've made a difference in the profession. Even having left the profession, it was always my desire to train others to become chartered accountants. At Itala, there was a lady that we've made a chartered accountant, took her out of her day job, sent her to an accounting firm, supplemented her salary, and she qualified as a chartered accountant. At Baraka, we registered the organization onto the training program, the top program, and we've managed to get our first chartered accountant that qualified at the beginning of this year. There's a second African woman that we've taken onto the program, and hopefully she'll qualify at the end of 2024. For me, it's quite important. I feel quite thrilled that I was responsible for training other chartered accountants, even if I wasn't in the profession. And for me, it's my contribution back to society. And I would like to see more chartered accountants, because once a person receives this qualification, somehow they're looked at differently. They're on top of the world. They're very marketable. People look at them in a way that will also increase their confidence. And if I can make the difference, I'm very thrilled about that too. So with regard to the digital transformation, it's affecting all organizations, but it's affecting the banks in a greater way. Historically, banks had a very captive market, but what you're finding now is that there's startups, there's other organizations coming across, and they're all taking away market share from the banks. So unless banks go across and transform themselves, they'll be out of business. The bank that I'm involved in has spent a significant amount in digital transformation, in digitalization, to make sure that we're relevant to our clients. And I think that's going to be a very important issue. Also to compete with the bigger banks. Being a small bank, it's one way where the playing fields become very level at this point in time. You do not need physical branches to be providing a service. Therefore, we've invested significantly in this, and it's something that we will continue investing in order to make sure that we're still in business coming 1 decade or 2 decades going forward. With regard to cryptocurrency, way back did some investigations, a bit apprehensive about it. I am a director on Sabric, and recently we've had a presentation by someone from the industry. I was amazed with the checks and balances and how cryptocurrency is becoming so popular with the processes involved. And I think it's something that we have to live with. We have to understand what's the best way to use it. Yes, there are some organizations and governments, they're not embracing it the way it should, but it's something that we have to work with and something that we have to make sure that we're using it. So I do believe that there's a great future for cryptocurrency, but slightly apprehensive at the moment, but I suppose with time, the usefulness of this will be more evident. I think it's very important. Banking is about trust. You've got to make sure that your ethics and integrity is at the highest standard. It's very important as a chartered accountant. This must be something that you practice on a daily basis, and you can be assured with those characteristics, you'll reach the highest levels in the financial industry. Because the way the industry is actually positioned at the moment, I'm sure some of the positions will become redundant with digitalization processes, but if one has these characteristics of integrity, one will reach the highest levels.